Well, one man dominated the early part of yesterday at the Dublin Racing Festival with a Grade 1 treble straight off the bat, all for his Uncle Willie. He's a man you can rarely keep out of the headlines, and it's wonderful to be able to connect with him now at Leopardstown. Danny Mullins, good morning.
Good morning, Nick. Yeah, it's great to be on. A fantastic day yesterday, and we'll try get some more on the board today.
All right, when you drove to Leopardstown yesterday, what were you thinking? What did you really think?
I thought if Kargese were to settle, I thought she had possibly the most ability of the juveniles, and after that I was hoping that the others might be bang there, but you know, the races really panned out as I wanted them yesterday, and the ball bounced for me, and when you're on, you know, the Willie Mullins team, that can always happen.
You mentioned Kargese. Were you surprised that Paul was on Storm Heart?
No, because his Punchestown run was very good. You know, he maybe got knocked down 3 times that day, and I was riding behind him that day, and the daylight he put between us from the home, the way he quickened out heavy ground was unbelievable. But at the same time, there probably wasn't as much strength and depth to that as I thought the juvenile race at Christmas for Kargese was, and for how free she was down the back that day. I thought there was a huge amount of untapped potential there were we to get her to settle.
So she was better yesterday, and she came through and hit the line quite well. How do you think she'd fare in a Triumph Hurdle?
I think she'd run a very big race in a Triumph Hurdle. Obviously, Nicky's horse, Sergino, he looked unbelievable in Cheltenham. But, you know, I suppose it's a case of saying you would respect him. I don't think you'd ultimately fear him at the moment, but you know, it's he's put in the performance that was maybe a bit more glitzy, but I think that strength and depth of the juvenile yesterday was unbelievable. You know, they're fair types. I wonder where Margeborough can be. You know, that was his first run as well, so like, I thought Kargese would improve from Christmas. I think Margeborough is open to a lot of improvement that could bring him maybe onto levels with Kargese after yesterday, and it's just a case of seeing, can the Irish match up, and what way who'll come out on top in Cheltenham.
Yeah, Margeborough is the horse you can see in the JP McManus colours there, finishing in 3rd place, but here's Kargese, good attitude, head down, and that was the second leg of your treble, Danny. Dancing City was the outsider of the whole lot going into the opening race. Were you pretty happy at all stages?
I was. You know, the plan was to jump out, make the run, and you know, from once I bounced out, jumped great down over the first few, and from there, was it Rachel took the lead off me on the home turn, and I was quite content if she was going to press on stronger than I wanted to go. Just plans and keep jumping down the back. A nice jump at the second last put me in the position again, and in fairness to him, when I got stuck into him at the back of the last, he battled on, you know, a strong winner at the finish. I was expecting Paul to be coming at me late on, but you know, I've hit the line strong, and you know, he probably tees him up for a good shot at an Albert Bartlett. I think trip will be no issue to him, and he jumps slick as well, so fingers crossed he's a horse going the right way.
He's already 7 years old. Does he feel like quite a good, strong horse sort of coming into his prime?
That's it, you know, he's really starting to fill out, and jumper days he probably was a bit more disappointing than we'd expected him to be, but you know, some of those horses need that bit of time, and he's you know, a solid Grade 1 winner now, and going on again to the next big festival with a good chance.
Etait must be pretty high up there among your favourite horses ever, isn't he?
He is, you know, and he's a funny fella at home. He's not the biggest in the world, and you know, he's got his own stubborn way, but I think he's showing such respect for fences, where over hurdles he'd just throw in the odd hairy jump here and there, which was maybe costing him, and you know, for his great use of himself at a fence. And you know, yesterday all the way down the back I was thinking, I'm jumping very well and content here. The front 2 went on at it off the bend, but you know, once I got down to the last and got to jump, I was thinking all the way to the line, I'm going to get Jack and I'm going to get him, but then 100 yards down, found a 50 to be fair to him, has battled on well, and it's only very late on that I've put my head in front, but you know, good tough performance from him. And you know, Marine Nationale, Facile Vega, I don't think there was any excuse. Maybe something will come to light with them, but Etait will be going to an Arkle with a very solid chance.
Yeah, and was he a different Etait yesterday to the one out of the infamous race at Limerick?
You know, in Limerick, there was a lot I liked about Limerick, and as we were chatting on the podcast about how well he jumped that day, and, you know, slightly better ground in Leopardstown allowed him to jump just as good again, and he came back again and battled strongly. You know, 2 miles, I'd say, is probably his optimum trip. You know, were he to go up and trip on a bit of nicer ground later in the spring, you wouldn't rule that out. You know, he didn't stop going to the line in Limerick as well, but I think a solid performance in the Arkle.
I mean, should we read it literally insofar as, is that how much better Gaelic Warrior is?
Possibly so. You know, on bare form, you know, Gaelic Warrior ran away from me quite easy at the back of the last in Limerick, but you know, the best of the rest were in Leopardstown yesterday, so possibly Gaelic Warrior could be a monster, but then he's in a match race with Factifile today, and I think Factifile is also very smart and straightforward. You know, Gaelic Warrior has his little kink, has huge ability, but Factifile is very straightforward and jumps well. That's going to be an informative race. So.
Now, if history is going to repeat itself once, why can't it do so again? A gentleman to me upset the apple cart for you in the Dublin Chase last year. Any chance he could do the same against El Fabiolo and Dino Blue?
I think he's my best ride of the day, and, you know, I probably need El Fabiolo to find some chink in his arm or somewhere, whether it be a mistake. You know, Leopardstown, there's a lot of jumping down the back. But then in saying that, I need Gentleman to turn up with his A game as well. When he's on song, Gentleman is very good. So I think he's my best rider today, and I'm hopeful, but it's probably a bit more strength and depth to the race. Blue in there as well, so fingers crossed, but who knows? I'll keep trying.
And what about Gold Dancer in the novice hurdle? Is he good enough to take a hand?
Yeah, he's a lot of ability, but, you know, some of Willie's this year, their first run of the season, they've probably been needing it. Irish
champion hurdle. I guess you just try and maximise her ability to get the best possible placing. Realistically, where is that?
I think she has a good chance of being third today. It'll be interesting to see what Bob Ollinger does back at 2 miles. I think, was I listening to something the other day, it's the last time he was over 2 miles, he was beaten by Fernie Hollow, which wasn't a bad form line itself, but it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think on known form, I should be third, and hopefully we'll try do things to nick a bit more, and who knows, if I can get a bit closer to Imperial Pass and Statement this time, it'd be great to be getting involved with them down over the last.
Huge day for you yesterday, Danny. Thanks so much for sharing it with us, and best of luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.